right. We back at it again. Horsemen Academy for the second week of February. Y'all just watched the interview with Tiara. It was great. I didn't even realize she worked at Whataburger. Went from Whataburger to owning her own real estate empire, which is wild to me. So, what'd you say? It was Waffle House. Thank you, John. It was Waffle House. But Whataburger would have been just as good. But either way, she went from Waffle House to owning her own real estate empire. Y'all go check her out again at Girl Boss Suites. Please give her the recognition that she needs. She's doing great things in the city. But we back at it again with another one. Same lane, somewhat real estate, but also just entrepreneurship in general. Y'all know about John that we got here in the studio. Y'all have seen him quite a bit on plenty of Poor Horseman episodes. We also got the movie review that we do with him as well. That's coming back. But today we have a special guest who's related to this brother. You know, randomly, I was at Black Men Buy Houses. This brother was at Black Men Buy Houses. We started talking about his brother, and I was like, you know what? We got to get you on the Horsemen Academy. Brother Malachi, please introduce yourself to the audience today. How are you, sir?
Doing great, man. Can't complain. Glad to be here. Glad to see what my brother actually does every day for a living. I'm happy to see him getting a paycheck. He owe me some money right now.
Oh, okay. Let's get to what he owe you. What does he owe you? Because I could just pay you instead of paying John. You know, we got real payroll. Do we need to put your name in there? Is that what it is?
You might have to do that. Maybe. We behind a month or two. So
okay, we might talk off camera about that, but let the people know where they can follow you, all that good stuff first, and then we just gonna jump right in. So right in that camera right there, where they can get information from you about.
You can follow me on my YouTube or on Instagram at The King Malachi, TheKingMalaki, or at Houston Retreats for our short-term rentals.
Yeah, nice. So you just recently started your YouTube channel.
I did, yeah.
What was your reason to jump off in YouTube? Because there's a different world now that you're putting out content for real. Right. What made you get in the YouTube world?
So actually, I had a lot of people in my back channels just hit me up asking me would I do it.
Okay,
that's the main reason.
Okay,
hey, I like content that I see of you elsewhere.
Yeah,
did you put out some stuff and asking questions and things like that. That's really the main purpose.
I did a review of your more recent interviews. We talked about OJ, the one that you did with him. Mm-hmm. I've seen a few other ones that you had, maybe even in his location as well. And then also, I watched your first YouTube, and then a next one that you're coming up that people haven't had a chance to see.
Okay.
You might be giving away too much game. Like for real. Like, I'm shocked at the level of detail that you're giving people for free. Is that on purpose?
It is on purpose.
Okay.
So I don't want to offend anyone.
No, don't.
One of the things we always talk about is collectively as a people, we're really not going to grow unless we really help one another.
Facts.
Help meaning I really want you to learn this information versus I want to be able to sell you a course for you to get this information.
Understand
so
that.
I'm very intentional about giving information out because all the success I have is because someone gave me stuff and looked out for me. That's kind of how I feel about it.
And see, most people nowadays, you're right. The goal is to get you in with a hook,
right, and
then have you support them through different means. You're taking a different approach. Now, is that a collective way of you thinking? Did that come from Morehouse? I see your Morehouse shirt.
Right.
What got that mindset put in place for you?
Well, really going back to my parents and just, like I said, people I've been around in general, I was always taught, do unto others as you will have them do unto you. What you give out, you receive, etc. Things like that. I've been very blessed in my whole life. Every success I've had, a lot has been because of something someone gave to me. I just had the good fortune to make good decisions and not mess up, what they told me to do. So I just feel enlightened and to be able to give back. Man,
not messing up is the hardest part.
Right.
Because most of the time we take, especially, Black men, often we get information and we don't even know what to do with the information sometimes.
Right.
We get it. And sometimes you're crippled with so much information, you don't know which direction to go.
Right.
How were you able to, and we'll get into what you do here in a second, but from all of the people that gave you knowledge, how were you to determine this is the direction I want to go in?
Like I said, I was pointed in the direction by individuals. I've had great mentors. Great teachers. Even the way I got into accounting, it was because a teacher pointed me in the right direction. I didn't even know what an accountant was.
Okay.
I literally my entire life, I've been blessed to be in great environments with people to point me in the right direction. I just had to work hard and do what they said and make the right decision.
That makes sense. Okay, so let's talk about it. Houston native, right?
Houston native, 3rd Ward.
3rd Ward.
Yep.
What high school?
Booker T. Washington.
So you went to North Side. Okay, so how did that work out then? I mean, you from 3rd Ward. How did you end up at Booker T?
So I went to River Oaks. I went to Lanier.
Okay.
Same track, the kids.
Yep.
When it was time to go to high school, the next track was to go to Lamar.
Oh, okay. Not Yates?
Not Yates. River Oaks. All the kids typically went River Oaks, Lanier, Lamar, all in that Westheimer area.
Okay.
That's the track of schools. So I've been with those kids for, since kindergarten.
Yeah.
Pretty much. My sister went to Lamar. She was going to be a senior that year, and there was no way in hell I was going to high school with her.
Oh, come on now. So you...
Yeah. I got a sister mom. I love her to death, but she would have been a senior. I would have been a freshman. It wouldn't have worked. So Lamar was out the window. So once I couldn't go to Lamar, then my mom decided where I was going to high school.
And Booker T was a good choice.
Booker T was a great choice.
Yeah,
arguably the engineering program, the best program in the city.
Yeah.
I was good in math.
Okay.
So math, engineering, we thought it was a logical choice. I'm not an engineer, so there are reasons behind that, but it was still a great school.
But it still makes sense, though, what you're doing now, though, because you're still in a process-driven industry.
Correct.
Like engineering would be, you're still in a process-driven industry. So decided not to go. That was your choice, or was it you said there's no way I'm going with my sister? And your parents agreed with that?
I said there's no way I'm going to school with my sister. That's off the table. That's not happening. It's only for a year. She would nope.
It was only a year though.
Not gonna be able to do it. I love her, Evelyn. I love you, but yeah, I couldn't have went to school.
But it was only a year.
Not gonna be able to do it.
Really?
Not gonna be able to do it.
Okay, so from Booker T.
Yeah, Mom said you're going to Booker T.
Okay, engineering, mathematics, STEM, all of that's really important there. Okay, that's what I was gonna get into. How did you end up being in accounting then? Let's talk about maybe from Booker T to Morehouse then. How did that happen? Because I don't know a lot of people from
the same lady.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a teacher, Vicky Cave.
Okay.
So I'm at Booker T. I suck at engineering.
Okay.
Like my spatial awareness, that the engineering deals with all.
You were gonna be mechanical?
I wouldn't, as bad as I was doing there, I wouldn't go be anything engineer related. So the first semester or first year, I might have passed every class with like a 70 or something like that. Now, part of it's related to not being a good engineer. Those skills outside of math.
Yeah.
But there was another part I just wasn't trying and doing no work. Could have been related to that. I wasn't that interested in it. I don't know.
Did you do athletics or anything also? Or
no,
was it just
I just sucked.
So you just didn't like school?
I just sucked at engineering.
Okay.
So
okay.
First year, horrible grades.
Okay.
Everything. But I barely passed everything. Second year, sophomore year, my high school English teacher, Miss Vicky Cave, became the magnet coordinator.
Okay.
The first thing she did was kick me out the program. So she put me out the engineering program. She was gonna make me go back to my home school, Westbury. I was like, "Yo, that ain't gonna work. Like, we gotta step it up.
You gotta step it up."
So she sent me to our regular program for a semester. It's kind of like if you make good grades, I'll let you come back up. She let me keep my bus route.
Okay.
It was illegal.
Okay.
She let that happen. I did good in the regular program. Came back up junior year.
Okay.
Still, I was doing a little better. I'm passing stuff, but still kind of struggling with the whole engineering thing. So one day she's kind of like, like Malachi, what do you like to do besides gamble?
Well, let's break into this gambling real quick. Let's take a pause. I'm a gambler. What was you doing in high school?
I wasn't gambling, so she was confused, but she thought I was gambling.
Cause I gamble.
Yeah, so she was like, "What do you like to do besides gamble?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? I don't gamble."
Okay.
She's like, "Malachi, every day I see you come in here, I see you grab the sports page, I see you go out with your little friends, y'all going over the box scores.
That's what I was doing.
Don't BS me. I know you're gambling."
You wasn't gambling.
I was like, "I'm not gambling. I'm playing fantasy sports." Is what I told her.
Now, me and you are of a similar age,
right?
So you was playing fantasy before the internet.
Before the internet,
you was adding up your.
So her question was
up your own scores.
So her question to me was, she said, "You're doing what?" I said, "I'm not gambling. me and the crew, we're playing fantasy sports. She was like, show me what that is. I showed her what it was.
Yeah.
Again, pre-internet.
No spreadsheet.
I showed her what it was pre-internet. Her initial question was, this is fun to you?
I mean, that's what I said.
Yeah, she was like, this is like, you like this?
Ain't no way.
And I was offended.
You were adding up the box scores.
I was like, I'm the commissioner.
Yo,
is what I told her. I'm the commissioner.
So you set up the league too.
And she said, show me what the commissioner does.
Yeah.
Then I showed her the manual spreadsheet.
Of course.
Like that. And once she saw that, she said, oh, you're an accountant.
Accounting. You were.
And I was like, what's an accountant? I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know what that is. She's like, you're the person that tracks money. I said, I can do that.
You can.
I can do that.
Because if you were willing to do that at what, 16, 17?
16, 17. Pre-internet.
People don't understand how hard fantasy used to be.
You know the engineering spread?
Yeah.
I mean, the engineering paper?
Uh-huh.
I was using that as a ledger.
So you took the paper from Six Sigma.
Yes.
It made your own
It made a ledger. And once she saw that, she said, oh, wow, you're an accountant. And luckily for me, you know how the schools have, CTE technical courses?
Yes.
Like body shop.
Yep.
And cosmetology and stuff. Accounting was a CTE.
Oh, wow. That's a, man. So that's like Malcolm Gladwell talks about in Blink, where you don't realize that one opportunity or like in Outliers that your school happened to have
an accounting CTE course.
Because across the country, that was not the standard.
Right.
So just randomly your school had that.
And she modified our core curriculum for me. So she let me take accounting classes as an elective.
And then how did you do in those classes?
I got all A's.
So did it come intuitive to you?
It was easy.
Okay.
So she let me take accounting because it's accounting's like it's not math related. It's like a placement. It's like another language.
I tried that, man. I couldn't do it. We talked about that a little bit before we got on. There was no way. And I'm proficient at math. I am comfortable, but now I speak finance. That's the language that I talk in.
Right.
But
so she let me take that.
No way I could
take those classes. And then she got me in the Morehouse.
What? Okay. This is a guardian angel.
It was.
For real. Because you went from a C student.
D student. CD. CD. I graduated with 2.8. She got me in the Morehouse.
High school?
2.8. Mm-hmm.
Man, how did she get you in the Morehouse with a 2.8?
So the Morehouse recruiter was there. Again, engineering. I mean, Booker T, great program back then. Arguably the best program in the city. Yeah. The recruiter was there to see other friends of mine that went to Morehouse. Brandon Durden, Jason Dorsey dudes that were like 4.0, honor roll, all of that. They were there to see them. I was in the office. The recruiter comes back. The recruiters typically come through the office to sign in and get stuff and whatever. Recruiter comes back and she tells the recruiter, she says, hey, doesn't Morehouse have a good business program? And he's like, yeah, we got a great business program. And she says, that's the student you want. It took us a while to find out what he likes, but he's an accountant. His engineering grades, they're bad. Ignore these. But look at these A's that he got in all of his accounting classes. Man, she is truly a guardian angel. Mm-hmm. She got me in the Morehouse. Because you never know what would have happened had you not had those encounters with her with the fantasy league. Correct. People could have really thought you were just gambling. Mm-hmm. And so this is a thing that I often say about youth. You don't really know what their skill is unless you invest the time in them. To find out. She invested the time in you. She took the time. Her main thing was, Malachi, what are you interested in? Yeah. Let's try to find what you like to do. Yep. I know it's not this. Let's find what it is. And then once she found what it is, she said, this is what you're doing. This is a job or a career track you can do. Go do this. And then when the college recruiter came, do y'all have this program? Yeah. Take him for that. He's bad at this, but here go all his grades in that. And the recruiter's like, oh, well, we need a writing sample. I was his English teacher. He can write. Yeah, we'll send you a sample. No problem. Trust me. Yeah. That didn't give me no money. Man, they don't even do writing samples no more. Really? Not that I've seen. I mean, they have to write these creative essays, but it's not the same as like what we had to go through. Okay. Yeah. You need a whole. Yeah. It's completely different now. Yeah. And they have like test optional for getting into school now. Oh, wow. You don't even have to take the standardized test. ACT, SAT. Yeah. It's a whole different world, but I digress. So Morehouse, how did Morehouse shape you? And then we're going to talk about some of the creative things you're doing in real estate. And did that come from your Morehouse background, or did you just develop that when you came back to Houston? A little bit of both. A little bit of both. Okay. Morehouse is, the best place you you could send a person.
Okay.
It made me the man I am today. It changed my life. I owe everything to the school.
Okay.
The network you develop there, just the sense of having pride and ownership in your community. You know, our goal is we don't want, you know, people to come out and just make money. We want leaders.
Of course.
Every man, we want you to go back to your community, make an impact, make a difference there in whatever field or endeavor that you're in. So it was great for all that, but also it gave me a large, expansive network. Yeah,
that's the one regret that I probably have in my colleges. You know, I'm University of Oklahoma, Texas A&M, University of Chicago. Like for me, I would have wished I had a Black experience in there in some way. I had none.
It was great.
I had none.
It's liberating to. It only lasted 4 years, but to just be able to be in an environment where you can just be free and be yourself. Yeah. And then the teachers there, you know, it's a teaching school versus like a OU or Texas. I went to UT too. That they're research schools.
Exactly.
The teachers are really invested in you, and the class sizes are smaller, so you can't hide in class. You really have to learn.
Oh, I definitely hid in class.
You can't. Our accounting classes had 7-8 students there.
No way. No way. Our classes would have 200-300 students. Yeah.
Yep. So
no way. I remember my first economics class. His name was T.O. Okadije. It's the only class that I ever got a D in college. Still haunts me to this day. I thought I was smart.
Right.
And I remember I tried to go talk to him to get like help after. And he was like, if you didn't get it in my lecture, you're not getting it.
Right.
And that's what happens sometimes at research institutions because they'll send you to a TA. That's it. And I was like, that TA knows as much as me.
Right.
Like this ain't gonna work. So
the teacher, their goal is to teach.
You're right. You're right.
You can't hide. They pour into you, and then all the companies that come to recruit, they're specifically looking for you. Versus at the other schools, if they find you, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then since the student populations are so small, what really matters is everybody gets a chance to interview. And
I didn't consider that.
It's all about getting in the interview room.
Yeah.
But at OU, UT, the other places, there's typically a GPA cap because they just don't have the time to talk to you.
Without question. Yeah. So, and that's why I made sure I was doing my best to graduate with damn near a 4.0.
Right.
Because I knew that I'm competing not only against the counterparts here, but also the UTs and the A&Ms, because there is that cap that people don't understand. That when you walk in, they see you with a 3.3, they may be like, "We're not talking to them."
Correct. No cap. Everybody can interview.
Yeah,
and they're specifically looking for you,
of course.
And then the initial round of interviews is typically always alumni that come back.
Oh man, that's
and then
great.
Once you get past the initial round and then have to go for the office visit, now the alumni wants to make sure we get to keep coming back.
Of course.
So we're prepping you for the office visit.
Yeah. My nephew from Southern, he had a similar experience. I can't tell where he's working now, but it landed an incredible opportunity straight out of college. And some of us languished for a while trying to figure out what we're going to do at different institutions.
Right.
So that is a fact. That is a fact. So for Morehouse, when did you make it back to the H then?
Immediately. Well, I went to UT for a year for the master's program.
Okay.
When I graduated, they just changed the law. You had to have 5 years of school to get a CPA.
Oh, okay.
Used to be 4.
That is true. Right. Yeah, because I forgot we are around the same age. That is true.
Right.
Okay, so you went to UT to finish that piece of it.
I went to UT to finish. They had the #1 accounting program in the country.
Yep.
In-state tuition.
Yeah.
So I went there for a year. Then I came to UT.
Did you work with any of the Big Fives after or?
I did before and after.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I started out at Anderson.
Oh, okay.
I worked at Anderson and Enron.
Oh man, wait. Can we get into the Enron? Were you there during all of the?
I was at Enron the summer before.
Okay.
The summer after I graduated, I worked at Enron that summer before I went to UT, and then once I finished at UT, I was in the Houston office when we closed because of the Enron stuff.
Man, I don't think we got a lot of people around the country who watch this. They only remember Enron from news stories, but they don't understand how impactful that was for the city of Houston.
Yeah.
Not only was it the largest company by numbers, it was the largest. They didn't have the largest employee base, but amount of money that was generated, largest in the States.
And buzz.
True.
The buzz. They were the most known company.
By far.
By far.
And then it was going in a day. It felt like.
Yep. We started. I started at UT. I mean, that September 9/11. We started right before 9/11.
Yeah.
And then by November,
it was gone.
The firm was closed. I'm saying both firms.
Both firms. Yeah. And that's crazy because, so in my world, it's Lehman Brothers that had the exact same thing. I'll never forget 2008-09 when we had the market crash, those mortgage-backed securities and all of that. One day, Lehman Brothers was one of the largest companies. Next day,
poof,
gone.
Yep.
Whole balance sheet was negative.
Yep.
And that's what people don't get about accounting, how important it is to have solid accounting practices because it could change your life in a day.
In a day.
Yeah. In a day. So
that's why our industry is so scrutinized for not catching mistakes and things like that. Why
Y'all are probably the most scrutinized industry other than medical.
Very much so.
By far. Because we're not that scrutinized. Like I can tell you right now, we're scrutinized on the fiduciary side, but nothing like what you all are on the technical side of things. Because the regulatory authorities that over y'all get audited on your audits.
Correct. Peer review.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Somebody has to look at what you did.
I couldn't imagine.
And sign off.
I could not imagine. Yeah. That's why I'm not an accountant. So let's talk about move back to the H. And where I know of you from is you doing creative real estate. And I call it creative real estate for a reason, because it seems like you source and find ways to do what people would think is impossible in real estate. Not only do you build relationships with people, you understand the law and you understand how to make financing work. But at the same time, you've done a lot of this for yourself.
Right.
And that's the hard part. Most people feel like you got to go out, get 5-10 partners, people to invest. You figured out a way to carve out a lane on your own. So was real estate always of interest to you? Or did you understand, hey, that's a way I can build wealth. Let me dig in and figure out how to do it.
I had no interest at all in
it
until I had kids.
Okay.
Again, going back to having great friends, having great mentors. Prior to having children, I was probably in the same, I won't say trap, but where you don't have anyone to leave anything to.
Yeah.
If you're making a decent amount of money and you have a nice quality lifestyle, you're not really as worried about asset accumulation, building wealth for if you don't necessarily have someone to give it to.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, it does.
Yeah. So I was there before good friends introduced me to real estate and showed me.
So just working a job, comfortable. Kids.
Comfortable. A kid was coming.
Okay.
And then I had friends in real estate.
That's what, okay, so that's the thing.
You know some of them. So yeah.
Okay.
I had really good mentors in real estate.
Okay.
I saw what they were doing.
Yeah.
It looked of no interest to me because I had the misconception that you're going to be a landlord, you got to be hands-on.
That's how I feel.
Know how to fix stuff and all that. And as my brother can tell you, I'm lazy. Like I don't.
That's how I feel.
I don't do none of that stuff.
Yeah. He might be the mainest man here, to be honest, because I don't do that.
I call him to come do stuff at my house. That's no cap. Hey man, the Christmas trees we need to get.
We need some help. Yeah,
so,
we need some.
Yeah.
But nah, so that's interesting then, because I feel like I'm at a similar crossroad. Like, so I've done some, small real estate. My father-in-law, he's done some stuff with my wife. They've been involved. But for me, I've came slow to it just because I feel like it's a lot of work. I feel like it's a lot of headache, a lot of trying to figure out where the money's going to come from, how to get involved. But that's why we got you today. Yeah. So one of the things that I saw, and people, this is going to be the title of this, because you said, I like free houses, which was crazy to me.
Right.
What does that look like? What do you mean by that? Because there's no way it's free.
It's free. Technically, it's free.
See, that's what I'll get back to. So what do you mean by that? What do you mean?
Meaning you don't have to come out of pocket to buy it. So
I'm still lost.
Real estate's one of the only investment vehicles where you can obtain the whole thing with none of your money.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So, you go buy stock and all that stuff. You want the Coke shares or whatever, you got to pay for.
You got to pay for them. That's
real estate. You're allowed to leverage.
Correct.
Up front and get everything. And then it's also on the back end, one of the only assets where the government's going to give you all your money back.
Correct.
Over time.
That is correct.
So you get it.
I understand that piece.
In the beginning, and they're going to pay me back in the end.
But I don't understand how you find that though. That's the piece. Like, where does a deal like that come about? Like, where are you sourcing the ability to go to someone and say, hey, well, you know what? I'm already financed because are you using other people's money
So people have a wide variety of ways to do it.
Okay.
So you have creative financing,
where
you have the house and I'm getting it directly from you and you're not making me pay for it.
Okay.
Right. But I still get control of the asset. Then you have, your fix and flip model where I get a distressed asset for a cheaper amount.
Okay.
And then I put some work into it and then I trade off the equity. And you can do the same thing as far as building. So the main thing is your ability to leverage.
Yeah.
So whether I'm leveraging from you owning the house and you saying you can have control of this without paying me for it now, or I'm leveraging an end user like a bank, or someone, whoever, or an investor giving me money to get the asset.
Okay.
Without coming out of my pocket.
Of course.
That's the main thing. So it's really about cost control with a fix and flip or new construction, or having the right relationship with someone on the creative finance side that's willing to give their property to you.
So are you more into multifamily, single family, fix and flip? I know you've got the, what did you call it again? The, where else they could find you at? The name is escaping me.
Houston
Retreats.
Right.
What are you more into then? Is it the short-term rental? Is it the fix and flip, long-term, tenants? What's more of your lane?
I'm more into whatever the tax code encourages me to do at that moment.
Tax code's about to change too for some people.
It's going to change in 26.
It is.
But until it changes then, there are heavy incentives in there to build.
Correct.
To do new construction.
There sure are.
Or significant rehab. So I'm into that. And then I'm into short-term rental, because short-term rental allows you to take allows you to accelerate the government paying your asset off faster.
Explain that then for people, because some people that might have went over their head. So the government right now is incentivizing new construction and heavy rehab.
Or heavy rehab.
Okay. Doesn't matter the area of the country.
It does.
Oh, okay. So that's
it's in yes and no.
Okay.
So two different programs. So they're encouraging investment by giving you bonus depreciation.
Oh wow!
Immediately now on assets. That's for everybody.
And that's people.
I'm sorry, every business owner.
But explain bonus depreciation, people, because they don't understand when you get that property, you are able to depreciate that asset off of your balance sheet, relatively quick.
So when you get because it doesn't just have to be real estate. Okay. Any type of equipment or property that has a useful life of 1 to 20 years. So useful life means I bought this microphone. Yeah. This microphone should last me 2 years. So this microphone cost $100. I can take the full value of this microphone
in 1 year taxes.
In 1 or 2 years.
Okay.
And the government will kind of give me that portion of investment back, as far as the house goes.
Okay.
Make sense?
No, that makes complete sense.
Okay. So 1 to 20 years, any type of equipment, property that you have, the government says we're going to give you all of this $100 up front instead of you. So this microphone, its useful life typically might be between 5 and 7 years. So let's say you spend $100 on it. I don't know the useful life of a microphone.
Of course. No. This is a great example.
I'm just giving an example.
Great example.
Let's say this microphone has a useful life of 5 years. It costs $100. Every year I get a $20 deduction.
Yes.
Off this $100. Right?
But you're saying with the...
Right now, the government says
immediately
you get a $100 deduction right
away. Okay.
Up front. And it didn't used to be that way.
And people are doing that with properties and not telling us.
People are doing that with properties. That's why you see corporate America going in and investing in real estate.
So BlackRock and Vanguard.
They get to do the same thing with houses. So it's the same thing with a house. So the useful life, again, the useful life of this.
Yeah.
How long? Useful life equals how long will it last?
Of course.
Okay. They say useful life of a house, residential house, 27 years.
Okay.
Useful life of the commercial building that we're in now, 39 years. Right?
So, so here's this. Sorry, we're getting down in the weeds. So we purchased this.
Right.
We own this cash.
Uh-huh.
I don't ever remember having that useful life conversation.
So you probably made a mistake because
that hurts.
Because when you sell it, so the government is going to give you this tax deduction. If you sell this, whether you took the tax deduction or not, they're going to assume that you did anyway.
See,
so you're going to have to pay a tax as if you took it regardless. So anybody, if you haven't depreciated the property that you have, go back, amend the last 3 years of your tax returns and make sure you take your depreciation. We see people do that a lot.
Okay.
Where they
That's not a homestead.
No. Homestead is on your personal property,
your primary residence.
Your primary residence.
Okay.
But that's the government saying you have a house that's worth this,
and we're gonna take the taxes,
and we're gonna reduce it by a percentage.
Yeah,
we're giving you a tax break. That's what that is.
Okay.
This is the government giving you cash back or a portion of cash, saying reducing your tax burden,
your liability
by this amount, which can lead to refunds and things like that from the tax. From the money that you paid.
Wait, how can you get a refund on something that you?
Because they've been taking. You're still paying tax in some capacity somewhere.
That's what Donald Trump was doing.
So when I say the refund,
I know what you're saying.
I mean a refund of money you've paid.
You paid. I know what you're saying.
We're giving you money.
No, I get it.
You get your money back.
So that's how people end up with zero tax liability.
Correct.
In the real estate space.
From assets.
Because
so if I want to wipe away income,
yes,
I just have to go buy X amount of assets to wipe away my income. So if I make $100,000,
yeah,
right? Okay, I make $100,000. Let's just say that's a 20% tax rate.
Correct.
I'm just
you throw a number out. Yeah.
I make $100,000. That's a 20% tax rate. I owe 20 in taxes.
Yeah.
How much real estate do I need to buy to get that back end deduction to wipe away that $100,000 of income? So let's say I go buy a $500,000 house.
Okay.
Right. The government now is going to give me a 20 to 25% reduction of what I buy. That's typically what it averages out to. It's a lot of different steps in between.
No, I got you.
But I'm saying, this
so that 100,000.
So let's just say I got 100,000 in income.
Yes.
Divide that number by 0.2 or 0.25.
Okay.
And that equals how much real estate you need to buy to get rid of that.
So $40,000.
40 to 50,000, $400,000 to $500,000.
Because you're taking real estate. Okay, yeah. Okay.
What I would need to buy.
So that math adds up.
If I buy a $400,000 property and they give me the upfront deduction of 20% of that, that's what that is. Or a $500,000 property, they give me the upfront deduction for that to get back to that $100,000.
And that's why you like free houses.
That's how you get a free house.
I'm doing this.
Right. Well, that's one of the ways. That's one of the ways you get a free.
No, that makes complete sense.
So that's not the free house part. That's the.
But that is though. You get the money back.
That's me eliminating my tax liability.
Gotcha.
Now the free house, how I get that is I have a $100,000 house, but it's worth $150,000,
correct,
$200,000, and then I borrow against the value of
correct.
it.
Correct.
I sell it to the bank. The bank's my buyer or an investor or whoever, and then I get the house. I've got zero money down that I paid. So,
but why would you sell to the bank? That's the piece that most.
So you can keep the property. You don't sell. I'm just saying, think of it this way. Every builder makes money.
Correct.
They build to make money, right?
Correct.
You make money by keeping your what low?
Your cost low.
Your cost low.
Correct.
Right. And then there's a spread that you get. This
correct.
Is my cost. This is what I sold it for, right? So I could sell. I could build a house and sell it to you, make $50 on the house. Then I owe tax on the $50 I just made.
Correct.
Right. Or I have my same cost. Instead of selling to you, a bank will give me 70 to 75% of the value of that house as a loan.
Oh, no, we cooking now. Okay.
Right?
We got something. Okay.
So they'll loan me the money for that house. I can get the same amount I can give to you depending on how valuable the house is, right? Depending on that spread. I'm borrowing against the spread.
And if there's equity.
The spread is equity.
Yeah, in that already. So you've built in your margin.
Correct.
Before you've done anything.
Yes. And then you do that depending on how cheap you get the land.
Of course. But
the lower you can keep your cost, and then here's the value of it. As long as your costs are 70 to 75% of the value, That's how you get the free house, because you're just borrowing from the bank to pay off your cost.
Now, how difficult is it to? I'm going to use terms that Horsemen would like to run this play. How difficult is it? Let's say I live in a rural community.
Okay.
Okay. Let's say I live in Manville or Rosharon.
Okay.
Where there's land already that potentially is owned.
Mm-hmm.
How difficult is it to put units on the ground?
Not very hard. I mean, you need credit. You need to be able to find a good builder.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make it seem like it's simple. But
it sounds difficult though.
It's not. It's a process.
Okay.
We're talking about accounting and finance earlier.
True.
It's a process.
True.
Step A, B, C, D, E, whatever. It's quite doable.
If someone were to come to you and said, because a lot of people are going to be interested in this, because hearing a way to have creative finances, as you call it, if someone were to come to you and say, hey, I got a 750 credit score.
Yep.
I got a W-2 where I make
perfect.
Let's say they only make $75,000 though.
That's more than like 60% of the country.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. So let's say I got a W-2, I make $75,000, I got a 750 credit score.
Right.
I've never owned a house though.
Okay.
Is it realistic for me to do new construction?
It is. It's not realistic it's realistic for you to hire someone to go do the new construction. It's realistic for you to be a developer where you're in charge of hiring a builder in a team to go out and build the product for you.
But what would my cost be? Let's say hypothetically that if my cost hiring the builder and then they go out and get the loans and everything, or do I have to go out and get those loans also?
You should go out and get your own loan.
Okay.
You can do if you got $75K in a good credit score, then you have the ability to go assuming you don't have a lot of debt.
Of course,
right?
Of course, yeah.
Because it's really not about what you.
It's
make.
That debt to income.
That debt to income.
Yeah.
As long as your DTI is 50% or more, 50% or under, then you can go out and obtain credit.
Okay.
To go out and do these things. Like if I want to buy land, you got a good credit score, you can get a lot loan for the land.
Okay.
Lot loan will loan you 60 to 70% of the value
of the value of the land. Yeah.
The other 30%, you could use a line of credit to pay for that. Same thing.
Makes sense.
You're just borrowing. But if you have the capacity to borrow with good credit, a good W-2, W-2 means the bank says you have money coming in.
You got income. Yeah.
Pay me back.
That's why entrepreneurs, I've always encouraged people, man, keep that W-2 as long as you can, especially if it fits in your entrepreneur life. Like, don't feel like you need to get rid of that, because that's one of those things that will help you in any environment where you're looking to borrow.
Right. It helps you with the lending for sure.
Especially having that, 2 years of income, being able to process your tax returns that show that you've had this standard amount of money coming in, or, with not a lot of gaps in your money also. That makes a difference.
To show the income, you can't be writing everything off.
Correct. They
care about the net number.
Explain that to people, because I hear a lot of people who, I'm glad we got an accountant in the building, because they talk about taking every deduction and then they show at the end of the year they made $6,000.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Why do people do that?
They don't want to pay tax. I mean,
but it hurts them reason. In the long run. They're not thinking
about when will I need this money. So if you're never gonna borrow from anybody, then you can deduct away.
Okay.
If at some point in time you're gonna need lending, then the person you're borrowing from needs to know that you got some money.
Correct.
That you're paying taxes, paying some money, and what you deduct. We often make the mistake of trying to chase deduction. I mean, you're not getting a dollar for dollar.
No, you're not. Yeah,
you're just getting the pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, never.
So, just deduct, what you need.
Okay.
I mean, think ordinary things in the ordinary course of business. Not, I don't want to pay tax this year. Let me go out and buy 10 more mics and they go sit in the corner.
Of course.
But do I need these 10 mics? Yeah, then it's a good time to buy.
It's like when people go say, man, go get you a car over 6,000 pounds.
Right.
Because you could deduct. No, what? Now you got to pay a payment of $1,200 a month.
Correct.
Like, why did you do that? Like, that didn't make any sense. So, all right, let's talk about maybe your most creative deal. What's the most creative deal that you've put together? Like, what's something that you were really proud of when it was done?
The most creative deal I've done, probably my personal residence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that.
Okay, so how did this happen?
So a good friend of mine, a real estate mentor,
Okay.
Told me to buy an empty lot near downtown across from a Perry Homes development.
Okay.
So his motto was always follow the smart money.
Yeah.
We see Perry Homes building over here. They've done all the research and everything.
Correct.
So we know they're coming. They're building. Buy this lot across the street. You can one day build something for yourself.
Okay.
Just do what they did.
Okay.
Later on, essentially. I bought that lot, held it for years, eventually sold it, and was able to take that money to buy the lot that my house sits on.
1 second, John. I think Brittany might be at the door. I'll let him continue to tell that story. You can keep playing and we'll just put it on the wide. Okay. And then I'll know where to edit. Okay. All right. So so Perry Homes.
Right.
You bought that. Now you bought that lot again.
I took that lot, sold that lot.
Okay.
Took the gains from that lot to buy the lot that my house sits on.
Okay.
Now, bought that about a year or two before we built on it.
Okay.
Was able to get so at that time BBVA had a loan program where if you're a doctor, a CPA, or a lawyer,
you be knowing the ways to get those details.
You're a doctor, CPA, or lawyer.
Okay.
0% down loan.
Oh man, come on.
0% down loan, and then the lot equity, because I sat on it for a year. So after a year, you can use the equity in the land as your down payment. So the lot equity covered any other cost I would have had, and then we got the loan. I built my house there.
Okay.
Built a garage apartment in the back. Well, first of all, my cost basis for my house, and I live in Third Ward.
Okay.
Not on the Ninth Street. It was like in the less than 100 a foot, really like less than 90.
How?
Or whatever. This was in 2018. This was years ago.
And I don't know what street, I don't know what block you on, but depending upon the block, that still doesn't make any sense because right now, you can't get that not possible.
So my cost basis for the house is really, really low. And it's a nice house, but it's really, really low cost basis. So basically, I got the land.
Okay.
I didn't have to pay for the land.
Okay.
My cost basis is really, really low.
100 a foot.
Less than that. My cost basis is really, really low.
Man, people, y'all don't understand. In Houston, you are not building anything for less than what? 200 a foot?
Nah,
150?
Nah, you can get in the low hundreds.
Really?
Yeah.
We got to talk this.
You can get in the
We got to talk this.
Well, it depends on what you're building. Standard stuff or luxury.
Luxury.
Right.
Okay.
So it varies.
Okay.
But to get something built, you can be in the hundreds.
Okay.
So, but my cost basis is under 100.
Okay.
Low.
Okay.
I have a garage. I built a garage apartment in the back that he cannot stay in.
No, wait, hold on. Why not? Why can't he stay? Why can't our brother in Christ stay in that garage apartment?
He can't afford it. So
man, just give it to him.
There's no give. So there's no give. There's no give.
Why not, man?
There's no.
You won't give him 6 months?
I will not. If he got 6 months of rent and a deposit, he can have it.
That's tough love.
He can have it.
That is tough love.
You got to learn how to fly.
That's real. That's real. That is real. I mean, but our brother is, he's 20 years younger than us, though.
He is.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need that lift.
When I was his age, I had a house. So I just say, I know it's doable.
But you weren't in the creative industry either.
I know it's doable.
You weren't in the creative industry. Creative industry is a little different.
It's doable. He'll
figure it out.
He'll figure it out. Yeah. Huh? $80,000. I think. No, not necessarily.
Just let him stay over there for $300 a month.
Can't do that.
Man, that's rough, man.
Yeah, so we got I got the garage apartment.
Okay.
But to answer your question, the reason why I'm most proud of this deal.
Yeah.
I got the garage apartment in the back.
Yep.
But it's an attached garage apartment. So
okay.
It's a separate. It's separate, but it's all under one roof.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So it's technically part of the same house. So since it's technically part of the same house,
FHA loan?
No. Since it's technically part of the same house, I can now deduct the pro rata portion of my house. So the income that I make from the garage apartment, I get the tax deduction,
of course,
from it because it's my house.
Of course,
out the pro rata portion of that house.
Man, you might be the most creative brother I know.
That's what I'm the most proud of, and the equity that I created from the house because, and I'm saying this because people always say or try to say your primary home is not an investment.
No, it is.
And that's not.
I think it is. Yeah.
So the equity from that house is enough money for me to be able to go build other homes.
Exactly.
Just from the equity from that house.
Equity from some of my properties have helped me do things like this and other things. Because it's not free money. We're not saying that, but you
have access to it.
And it's at the lowest rates that you're going to get elsewhere.
Correct.
So that's definitely a part of it. And you don't have to go ask, beg, borrow from people. You got it already available.
Just be careful with what you do with it. I'm saying good investments only.
Agreed.
Real safe, good investments, because you are
it's your house.
Exposing your house.
It's your primary residence. That's true.
But that's why I like that one. Cheap cost.
Okay.
A lot of equity, rental income from it that gives
that you won't let him stay in.
That he can't stay in. That gives me the ability to deduct everything else. I could even deduct the dog if I wanted to.
Oh man, you playing games now. All right, so
it's a security animal.
No, it's not.
It is. It is.
Two more questions. All right. So we always ask this to everybody. If a new entrepreneur, someone wanting to get into creative financing, the space that you're in, let's say they have 10,000 liquid, no responsibility for it, nothing. What would you recommend them to do with that 10,000?
It is going to depend on their mindset and skill set. Okay. So I always say you should find real estate is lots of ways to make money. Lots of ways. Which way makes the most sense for you? Just like my teacher found out what I was interested in. Being an accountant. Pointed me in that direction. What way makes sense for you? If you like it, if you good on the phone, good talking with people, good meeting people, that 10 might make a lot for you wholesaling. Right? True. If you're real handy, it might make a lot for you fixing and flipping. Okay. I'm not handy. I'm okay talking to people. Yeah. I don't like to do it a lot. I don't want to do it, be on the phone all day selling, but I can, right? Okay. But I'm an accountant, process based. Yeah. I'm great, which is why I build.
Makes sense.
The process.
Makes sense.
So I'm saying find what your lane is and then go get educated in that lane and go do that. So I would spend that 10, a portion of that 10, getting properly educated on what I want to do. Okay. And then last question. Young entrepreneurs are going to be out there. What would you tell yourself 20 years before now? What would you tell someone who's, 25, starting out, getting going? What would be your recommendation to someone getting started? Two things. Thing number one would be make sure you have great credit. Yeah, that credit. Get your credit up. Yeah. Because with credit, you don't need cash. You don't. If your credit's right, you can borrow the world. You really can. And I think they used to tell us 720. Right. I say you got to go 760 or better. Right. It helps. Yeah. If you got 760 or better, you can do damn near anything. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I get the credit right. Yeah. Second thing I do, I would house hack. Okay. So yeah. The first place I got, if I could start over, I'd buy a fourplex immediately and stay in one and rent the other three. I'd house hack. Okay. And it's not too late for people to house hack. No. I think even if you have owned a property or two and didn't do it initially, right, you can still house hack if you're willing to lower your standard of living. Yeah, I mean you're sharing walls. That's the problem. So that is the problem. But I think the appetite to do that is easier when you're young, in your 20s, you don't have no children. Yeah, with me, my wife and I talk about it often. Like, and I'm gonna talk to you about something after we get off of this. But it's hard for me to think that I would house hack right now. Right. But it's probably a great decision to do, even now. Right. But you got to be able to sleep at night, so you know yourself, know thyself. Yeah, man, that's tough. Yeah. That's tough. But if you go be bothered by hearing somebody above on the side and want to go hit them and stuff, then I would want to. House hacking ain't for you. You got to do what's best for you. That is true. That's true. Just like it makes sense, financial sense for people to borrow money, but if you can't sleep on people's money and not be comfortable, it don't make sense for you. There's a level of risk that everyone's comfortable with. I talk about it often in my industry. Like, the first thing I'm gonna do with someone is risk assess. Correct. Like, what are you comfortable with? Are you comfortable with losing everything? Right. And if you're not, then this is not the portfolio for you. Right. It might be this that's more conservative. Maybe you need to be looking at all fixed income. We're not going to do any equity for you. Things like that. You have to have that conversation with people. So, well, let me tell you one thing I'm definitely never going to be comfortable with. Okay. that's a relative of mine staying in a place I can rent for free, unless their names are Lawrence and Sydney.
And those are your kids?
Those are my parents.
Oh, okay.
So kids, they got to go too.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, they young men. They got to get on their own too.
Look, John, we need to get you into this. Because how far is this from here? How far is this apartment from here? Oh, come on, man. We need to get him here, man.
10 minutes.
He's struggling to get to work. We need to get him in the apartment. What do we need to do?
That's tough. Have him not be John, or
have him pay.
Or have him pay. Have him pay a fair market prorated amount.
Man, tell the people where they can find you again in that camera. And then I'm going to encourage after this, we got to get John in that apartment, man. We got to figure this out because we got to help our brother out. You know, maybe that's on me too now as a part of his employer.
You're his employer.
You know what I'm saying?
You want him in the house, give him a raise, and then he can afford to stay there.
But we got to work together then. You got to like cut it in half or something.
Half?
Yeah. Man, tell the people where they can find you, man.
I don't know what that word means.
Tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at The King Malachi, Malaki, or on the YouTube channel that we're
gonna get it right. Yeah.
I need to talk to you about, yeah. Or at Houston Retreats. If you're in the Houston area and you need a place to stay, we have great short-term rentals available.
Okay, that's been Horsemen Academy for the second week of February. I don't know exactly when this is going to come out. Maybe Thursday. So it might be coming out. What's Valentine's Day?
Wednesday. So
it's going to come out Thursday, the 15th then. So that's Horsemen Academy.
I was going to get this to my wife as her present. I guess I got to go.
Man, we out.